OpenAI, I mean, you seem somewhat frustrated with them. You were one of the big contributors early on.
The reason I am the reason OpenAI exists.
How much money did you give them?
I'm not sure the exact number, but it's some number on the order of $50 million. Man, fate loves irony next level.
Elon definitely did a lot to help OpenAI in the early days, and in spite of all of this, I'm very grateful, and I think he's just a sort of legendary entrepreneur. He's also clearly a bully, and he's also someone who clearly likes to get in fights. You know, right now it's me, it's been Bezos, Gates, Zuckerberg, lots of other people. And I think fundamentally, this is about OpenAI is doing really well. Elon cares about doing really well. Elon started and now runs a very direct competitor that's trying to do exactly what OpenAI does. And I'll point out is a structure, it's like a public benefit corp. And I heard Elon has majority ownership and control, and seems like a reasonable thing he would do.
So you helped to the creation of OpenAI. You put in as much as $50 million.
More than helped. It wouldn't exist without me.
It wouldn't exist without you. So
I came up with a name. Right. The name OpenAI refers to open source. So the intent was, so what was the opposite? What's the opposite of Google? Would be an open source nonprofit, because Google is closed source for profit. And that profit motivation can be potentially dangerous.
So you're very disappointed in what's happened there in terms of it becoming a for-profit. Did you take any action? Sue them in some way?
I do think that there's some... look, it does seem weird that something can be a non-profit open source and somehow transform itself into a for-profit closed source. I mean, this would be like let's say you funded an organization to save the Amazon rainforest, and instead they became a lumber company and chopped down the forest and sold it for money. And you'd be therefore like, well, wait a second, that's the exact opposite of what I gave the money for.
Yeah.
Is that legal? That doesn't seem legal. And if it is, and in general, if it is legal to start a company as a nonprofit and then take the IP and transfer it to a for-profit that then makes tons of money, shouldn't that be the default?
But I mean, it was Elon that most wanted to convert, not even convert, it was Elon that most wanted OpenAI to be a for-profit at one point, and had made a bunch of proposals that would have, and also things like OpenAI being part of Tesla, but mostly just create a new for-profit that he was going to be in control of. And
for someone who's just sort of tuning into this topic, why is it important, Sam, that OpenAI has a for-profit arm or converts in the way that you've been talking about? Why is that essential to your growth?
When we started OpenAI, we thought it's hard to go back and remember how different things were in 2015. That was before language models and chatbots. It was way before ChatGPT. We were doing research and publishing papers and working on AIs that could play video games and control robotic hands and things like that. And we were supposed to get $1 billion, but ended up not. We thought with $1 billion we could make substantial progress towards what we were trying to do. As we learned more and got into the scaling language model world, we realized that it was not going to cost $1 billion or even 10, but like $100 billion plus. And we couldn't do that as a nonprofit. So that was the fundamental reason for it. I think a lot of the press has been misreported. We're not like the nonprofit. Even if we go through with any of the conversion ideas or evolution ideas we're talking about, it's not like the nonprofit goes away. The nonprofit doesn't like stop being a nonprofit and becomes a for-profit. We've talked publicly about maybe we evolve our current LLC into a PBC, but anything we do would strengthen the nonprofit. The nonprofit would continue to exist, would continue to serve, hopefully better serve the same purpose. And the overall mission of the company that you talked about, which is develop this incredible technology, do it in a way that we think is maximally beneficial to humans and get it out into the world for people, we keep doing that. I'm incredibly proud of our track record on doing that so far. People, as you were saying earlier, use ChatGPT and love it. There's an incredible free tier of ChatGPT. We lose money on it. It's not ad-supported or anything. We just want to put AI in people's hands. We continue to want to deploy this technology so that people co-evolve with it, understand it, that the world is going through this process it's going through right now of contending with AI and eventually AGI and thinking how it's going to go. And everything we're doing, I believe Elon would be happy about if he weren't in control of the company. He left when he thought we were like on a trajectory to certainly fail. And also wouldn't do something where he had like total control over OpenAI. But I think it's like a little bit of a sideshow, and the right thing for us to do is just keep doing incredible research, keep shipping products people love, and most importantly, like keep pursuing this mission of AGI to benefit people and getting that out into the world.
Should you have gotten governance for that money? Should you have gotten some level of control, perhaps, in retrospect?
Yeah, I fully admit to being a huge idiot here. Anyway, so OpenAI was like meant to be OpenAI, open as an open source. It was created as a 501c3, so part of it is also in the beginning. I thought, look, this is probably a hopeless endeavor. How could we possibly compete with? How could OpenAI possibly compete with Google DeepMind? I mean, this seemed like an ant against an elephant. And I also think it's important to understand the when push comes to shove, let's say they do create some digital superintelligence, almost godlike intelligence. Well, who's in control?
Yeah.
And what exactly is the relationship between OpenAI and Microsoft? And I do worry that Microsoft actually may be more in control than, say, the leadership team at OpenAI realizes. I mean, Microsoft, as part of Microsoft's investment, they have rights to all of the software, all of the model weights, and everything necessary to run the inference system.
So they essentially have a great deal of control.
At any point, Microsoft could cut off OpenAI.
You co-founded OpenAI and then left, and you've obviously got a legal battle with OpenAI and Sam Altman. I wonder if you could say something about the status of that, because you were together in Saudi Arabia with the president last week with Sam Altman. In the same place at the same time.
Sam was in the neighborhood.
Okay, so does that mean you are pushing ahead with the lawsuit against OpenAI?
Yes.
They've made some changes to their corporate structure, though, haven't they, since, in recognition of what you've said? And
No, that's just what they told the media.
okay. They have partly walked back their plan to restructure the business. I guess that's made no difference to how you feel about it. So you're determined to see them in court?
Of course.
One of the things I've always been fascinated by is you never took equity in the company.
I think you think about that more than I do.
I'm surprised. You get paid $76,000, I looked.
I believe you.
And that's it. If the company does have one of these moments, there's an expectation you will get some equity.
There was a bunch of press about that, and there's been like some investor pressure. It is weird that I didn't get equity.
Did you want it? You didn't want it,
No,
though.
I didn't want it. If I could go back in time, I would have taken it, just some little bit, just to never have to answer this question. And no matter how many times I try to explain to people, like, I have the most interesting, coolest job in the world. This is like my retirement dream way to spend my time after like what was a pretty good career. And people can work on like art projects and not get paid for that, and no one thinks it's weird or whatever. It just does not come across. So I wish I had taken some. I don't imagine I would work any harder or less hard. There would be like, I think, something clearer about the alignment I would have had with investors or whatever else, and it definitely would have been easier to raise money. Like, there are plenty of investors who have not invested because I didn't take equity.
They say, really, that's interesting. They will not invest because you don't have equity.
It's come up a few times, yeah.
So if it's now the company's $157 billion, what do you think is a good number for yourself if it happens?
Again, I think you think about it more. This is my childhood dream job. Like, not every day, like not day to day. I would rather not be beating my head against the wall all the time. But getting to work on AGI and like getting to like sit in the room with the smartest researchers in the world and go on this crazy adventure, like, that is what I always wanted to do. That was like my literal childhood dream. And that is, all of the weirdness aside, I think it should at least be understandable that is worth more to me than any additional money.
Well, but Sam Altman got rich, though, didn't he?
At various points, he's claimed not to be getting rich, but he's claimed many things that were false. And now apparently he's going to get $10 billion of stock or something like that. So I don't trust Sam Altman, and I don't think we want to have the most powerful AI in the world controlled by someone who is not trustworthy. And sorry, I just don't. I mean,
but that seems like a fair concern.
Yeah.
But you don't think, as someone who knows him and has dealt with him, that he is worried about the possibility this could get out of control and hurt people?
He will say those words.
Yeah.
But no.
New details on OpenAI's deal to build one of the world's largest AI data centers in Abu Dhabi. Sources telling CNBC's Kate Rooney that Elon Musk worked to try to stop that deal if it didn't include his own AI startup, XAI. Musk warned officials at the UAE group behind the deal that the plan would not get President Trump's approval without XAI's inclusion. And Rooney's also reporting that OpenAI's Abu Dhabi deal was set to move forward until Musk got involved at the last minute, frustrating White House officials who accused Musk of lobbying for his own interests and positioning himself as representing the president.
Elon tries all sorts of things for a long time. This is this week's episode.
You take it seriously at all? What do you think he's trying to drive at with this?
I think he's probably just trying to slow us down. He obviously is a competitor. He's working hard and he's raised a lot of money for XAI, and they're trying to compete with us from a technological perspective, from getting the product into the market. And I wish he would just compete by building a better product, but I think there's been a lot of tactics, many lawsuits, all sorts of other crazy stuff. Now this, and we'll try to just put our head down and keep working.
Does it make it more difficult to move from that non-profit model to that for-profit model for OpenAI?
We're not moving to a for-profit model. We're not sure we're going to do it all, but no matter what, the nonprofit will continue to be extremely important. It will drive the mission. It will continue to exist. The board is looking at lots of options about how to best structure for this next phase, but the nonprofit is not changing into anything or going anywhere.